Hello, everyone. I am in my robe tonight because, well, it's a little bit chilly. And around here, it's supposed to get 5 degrees, which, is kind of a big deal. It happens once a year, once every 2 years, but definitely not like the snow that we were seeing yesterday in Texas. Now, it did not hit my area. It basically sleeted and then the rain washed it away, but we did get to watch a lot of other people in Texas enjoy that. Okay. But I mean, at least it was kind of a fun thing, for one, fun and nice and enjoyable for us to watch. Hello, Watchmen. Good to see you. Thank you for the like so far. And it's really good to have any kind of enjoyment of just normal things more and more nowadays, isn't it? And it's been a few days since I've been on. I know it. But we're gonna be here for a minute, and we're gonna be talking about a lot of things, and I'm gonna love to hear your thoughts and your comments on pretty much everything. Hello, Jeff Jacobs. Don't forget to anybody who sees this in the future, hit like, subscribe, share the videos, and never forget to comment. That's always great. Okay, so wow, it's just been the wildest 11 days of 2021 anybody could have imagined. I mean, we kind of knew that, okay, we're in the last days, things aren't going to get any better. And even in the past, I've been, steady telling people what's about to happen next. And one of the videos I did a little ways back was about Christian persecution that would be on the rise, because that's the fifth seal. And so far, a lot of the things I've been saying has been absolutely right. The things that haven't happened yet, they will. Okay. But we're doing pace for pace right now. And so really, what we're seeing right now, it may be starting off as political, but we're going to realize more and more that this is more than just a political thing, that we are entering into a battle between light and dark. So it's going to kind of throw itself up on us completely as Christians the more we go on, right? The proper thumbnail header is 100,000 times greater than a thumbs up. Okay. Proper thumbnail header. Do I need one? Do I have one? Sometimes I'm just not up on the lingo, Watchmen. Right? Okay. So the title of this video live stream is The New America. They're kind of saying that now. This is a new America and internet exiles. Because as we saw, that there is certain obsession with the president that we have that is so obscene that it's not enough that he's going to be out soon. You can tell that they want to pursue him. It's not like they can just get over it. They're it's like they're addicted to pursuing somebody. But see, I don't think it's going to end there. Okay. I mean, when you got headlines like Nancy wants to hide the nukes, or Trump has a Camp David meeting, Trump won't attend the inauguration. But, Biden's happy with that. He's like, oh, it'll be better if Trump isn't there anyway. And, I don't know if those two should be in the same area anyway. I mean, I'm like, well, what's the big deal anyway? It's not like Biden's even going to get a parade, because social distancing and the way everything's shut down right now, it's, and it's funny because that some of the arguments against impeachment was that it would overshadow Biden's inauguration. It's like, oh, we don't want the headlines for him, the other president, to be bigger than this new guy coming in. But really, Trump, he's just a headliner. He always has been. There's really no real way around that. Let me see. Hello, Fiddlesticks. Watchman says, add Paul Begley, Kenneth Copeland, or Joel Osteen to your video and thousands will show up. Right? I do wish thousands would show up. I mean, I would just really have been just having so many problems with BoobTube, for the last couple of years, but I'm always happy with what I've got. I really am happy with all of y'all. I'm just Ooh, always so glad y'all here. Jeff Jacobs says the battle has always been going on. It has, but I really think things are kicking up a notch this year. Hello, Micah. Hello, One Prophetic Touch Ministry. So good to see you. Great Falling Way is coming as soon as they suppress the internet and people cannot assemble at the churches. They're going to go nuts. You know, I was thinking about the Great Falling Away today too, Watchman. Hello, Miss Chavez. And what I was thinking is like, you know, I've noticed that whenever somebody new comes into power, there's always a kind of a turncoat thing that goes on, meaning that there's always somebody that's just gunning for the guy that's in charge. So, you know, if say conservative Christians were on top, then there would be certain people that are only with them because they're the leaders. And then if something happens to them, then they would go to the other side. And so I think in a situation where the abomination of desolation is happening, just like in Matthew 24, right after that verse, that it's just going to be one of those people, they're not really loyal to anybody, you know, and they're ever okay, agrees with Watchmen. This all orchestrated coup. It does seem a little scripted in a way that um, even though every president has their own legacy, right? When you look at this through a spiritual lens about the progression of certain bills that have been passed that ensure that there are guillotines and indefinite, what's it called, detention and isolation centers, you know, those kinds of things, you can see that in between all of that fog, there's been something leading up to, you know, citizen execution at some point, right? Okay. So then we find out that Trump's Twitter account is permanently banned, and he's banned from like all kinds of platforms now. But at the same time, they lost billions in stock in pretty much 24 hours. And I believe that maybe that might start to sway them a little bit because money talks, what else walks, right? You know, and when it comes to people's money, they don't like that being messed with, but it might be unrecoverable now because it's hundreds of thousands of people, right? And Trump is talking about, from what I hear down the rumor mill, about getting his own platform of some kind, like a lot of people are, like Parler, who was just completely offline last night. So we're seeing what right now, internet exiles, okay? And all of this because they want to hold, under the guise that they want to hold Trump accountable for the DC riot. But it's affecting so many people that it's really persecution is what it is. It's strong arming on, and what it's causing is exiles, okay? And it's not really about Christians or anything like that. It's not even about Republican and Democrat. It's about who doesn't agree with the oh gosh, I hate my seizures. I want it's one. It is who, you know, with the regime, when they don't agree with the regime, who's ever in charge there, then that's really, it could be anybody, Christian, non-Christian right now, or otherwise, you know, it's anybody. And so when you've got a lot of people that are being exiled or persecuted, then a lot of times in that way, people that are diverse find a bridge for a form of unity. Okay. That's, you know, if it's a lot of groups that they're really walking on right now. Okay, I see you fiddlesticks. Blue from off grid. The church has been duped. Trump is the beast and will drag Christians into a bloody civil war. Don't follow him. You know, we should never follow any man, really. And I don't. I've never really been one to follow the crowd. I've always been a critical thinker, which is a dangerous thing nowadays, you know. And who I do follow is my Savior, Jesus Christ. And what he shows me and tells me is that, this is a time when civil unrest was supposed to get worse, that the evil was so deep and dark in hearts of man that all they think of is evil day and night. Okay? That it's so bad that parents kill children, children kill parents, people betray one another, even unto death. Okay? That's what we're seeing. It's not really just what's going in office. It's what we're seeing in office really is kind of just a sample of what's really going on as a whole around the world. What we're seeing here in America is really a tape. It's it's happening everywhere. Okay, the lines are being drawn because it's not like when a state tries to bill, like New York was trying to push that A416, and then other states follow. Well, the countries do that too. They fall in line with each other. One tries it and maybe they'll try it over here to see if it works this way. And then they fine tune things and tweak things until they've got it right. And then it goes everywhere. It becomes the new norm. Okay. Hello, Horn of Gabriel. I'm so glad to see you. Glad you could join us today. Well, it's tonight for me already, right? 7 o'clock. It's nighty night. Okay, so they want to hold Trump accountable for the DC riot. We'll be able to see in the future how that goes, but it's going to be overshadowed, I think, by the civil unrest that's going to continue to rise, because the more that large groups of people are alienated, like when they're saying doctors refuse to treat babies if they're not vaccinated, or you can't get a job if you're not vaccinated, or you can't. It was so funny. They were saying, okay, you can't go to bars and restaurants and such places we can't really go to anyway unless you have the vaccine. I'm like, well, even if you had it, you still have to social distance. You still have to wear a mask. It doesn't guarantee it can prevent anything or cure anything or whatever. It can't do that. But it's going to be implemented that way, and they're going haywire over. It's like they're kicking into high gear now with these vaccines. They're trying to mass inject everybody, and then they've got this list of deniers that's being created. And how tough should we be on these people? It's a form of resegregation. Nobody's really equal anymore. And it was just like I mentioned in the recent past, that because everything that's good is supposed to be bad, that means that those who had the good hearts and the best, like the children of God and everything like that, we're going to become criminals. We're the bad guys. We're the rebels. We're going to be called terrorists. We're going to be called every single bad name in the book. Okay. And they'll use these accusations to detain us, to re-educate us, to take away our rights, to segregate us, to make us exiles. Okay. And so I don't see how this can get better, in a sense, just because a new regime is coming in. See, we don't ever get a perfect president. We never do. We have to take kind of the good and the bad. But this one is walking into a big old mess. Oh man, it's a big, big mess, because he's part of the status quo, and the people that aren't completely programmed are ready for something besides the status quo. And he pretty much stands for that. I mean, Nancy Pelosi is going to turn 81 years old in March. I'm like, why do we have people that old getting elected for office? My God, Daughter of Babylon in layman's terms is ruler against ruler, brother against brother, then foreign invasion and ultimate destruction, right? And I mean, okay, so we've got people that have been coming out and saying, hey, we've got a bunch of meteors coming in this year. We got people saying they're going to strike here, they're going to strike there. And then there was this one dude, I think it was yesterday, he caught 4 um, those tsunami machines on the West Coast and the East Coast of the US. He caught 4 of them in tsunami event mode yesterday, and one of it would be, like, around the New York Atlantic area on top of that New York blob, that super volcano, and the other side was around the Cascadia fault line. It had those event monitors going off, okay? So, what I'm thinking is that while America is in the middle of all this chaos and these vaccinations, right? And all of these restrictions, that anytime we could turn around and places that we used to know are gone because they've been hit by either a meteor or a tsunami or a volcano thing or whatever, okay? That it really even leaves an opportunity for people to invade, okay? And with Trump going out of office, one of the issues that we were having was people just walking over the border, and they had a problem with walls. And so you kind of wonder, you know, what's going to happen with that? Are they going to try to tear the walls down, or because they sure don't have a problem erecting fences. We've noticed that, haven't we? They sure don't. And posting guards with, weapons. And I'm not just talking about DC. Mm-mm-mm. That's what they want at these isolation camps, fences. You can't leave without authorization, you know. Mm-hmm. It makes you feel very uneasy, doesn't it? Jesus will find faith, watchmen, because there's a remnant. There's always a remnant. There are people with faith, and there are people, like in Revelation 12, what did it say? That they loved not their life unto death. All right. And, it kind of keeps it and puts it in perspective, even though they're taking a lot, it's sometimes it's better to let things go, because the more you have to hold on to, the more that's weighing you down. But when you have nothing left, then there's a lot that can happen right there. It's almost, you can actually become very useful when you don't have anything left to lose, especially if you find that one day you have to put your life down. It's like, I don't have anything to hold on to, not your bank account. It's not more important to you. Nothing, you know what I mean? Fiddlesticks. He might be right about that too, sadly, Watchmen, but if we're distracted anyway, what was it? We had a cyber attack December, a cyber attack, and that was in some pretty serious areas, national defense. We have issues with pretty much anything that can be tracked can be hacked. Anything that can be programmed, anything, okay? You don't want a smart fridge. You don't want, a lot of items that you can just conveniently hook up into the internet. You really don't. Oh man. Yeah, they're just so everybody's just so distracted. This would actually be a prime time to come in. Really. The very middle of the Bible is Psalms 118. Let's look at what it says. Oh. Well, let's do that, Horn of Gabriel. Pachow. Psalm, or as Biden would say, Palms 118:8. Alrighty. It's coming up now. It is better to trust in the Lord to put confidence in man. That is absolutely correct. Thank you very much. Stop the 33. I've watched you since Plant-Based Homestead Prepper started. I love you and hope you're doing great through all this. Speak your truth, girl. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much that is appreciated and badly needed in this house. God bless you so much. I'm very glad. We are very glad to have you here. Oh, wow. I'm glad everybody's showing it some love to stop the 33. That is awesome. That's wonderful. I'm so grateful y'all are here. Another thing that we are looking at is not just the shutdown of communication, the forced injections, but the continuation of lockdowns even after the introduction of a solution injection, right? With their magic potions, which is alarming. Okay. We see recent news that says England and Scotland began new lockdowns. That same week, UK will lock down until what? March. March. Okay, and they were the first ones to come out with that magic potion, right? That they put in your arm with all the nanoparticles. Okay. At the same time, the Pope was discouraging folks to go on holiday, which is vacation, or to go visit your family for the holidays. Germany tightened lockdown restrictions. Greater Brisbane and Queensland, Australia is locked down under fears and uncertainties of the new strain. And listen to this, they want contact tracing to ensure. I mean, how many times have I talked to you about how they're trying to track you? And so this new strain, new fears, we need to lock down this area. So we have to contact trace them to ensure that this does not go to the next level. Okay. When this whole thing started to begin with, it was just supposed to be for a little while. And I was sitting there going, man, that's not how it works. That's just not how it works. Okay. A year later, in another strain later, they really think that this lockdown stuff is working. They even said already it wasn't meant to really stop it. They couldn't stop it. They just wanted to slow it. Well, they did slow it. They did. They really did. But they can't stop it. But they're making sure that they stop us. Right? Does that make any sense at all to you? And it's almost like, you think about what was happening before that was bigger in the news before all of this was really happening was all these peace talks that we were having on the Israeli side. And the Palestinians didn't want to have anything to do with any peace talks at all. But now suddenly that Biden has come into office, now they want to talk peace. But that's been kind of shoved under the rug a little bit. But that's something I'm still keeping my eye on until that signing happens. I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to keep watching because that's so important, okay? Because there are still things going on. Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, has been under a lot of fire from the people recently. So this is getting very, very interesting. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Rogue Christian. Mwah. Thank you so much, both of you. Just makes my day. You just have no idea. I've been praying to God to just help our family somehow. And, this is definitely something that just makes me feel loved and blessed. And, that's the real richness right there. I just thank you all. Thank you all so much. I've been touching over 200 packages from all over the world daily as a FedEx driver for a year and never sick. Yeah, isn't that interesting? They're even talking about how, because remember a few videos back, I don't know, some of y'all might not, but Houston was asking for people to give their blood so they could do DNA studies on the virus, basically. And I'd already had the up and up on that. And I was telling people, I said, do not give them your blood, right? Don't do it because they're looking to see how certain DNA strands are handling it better than others. Recent reports coming out, A blood is easier to get infected than O blood. Now, whether they're telling us the right results of that, I don't know. But that's just proof that, yeah, they're definitely, how do we know that they're looking to help us? How do we know that they're not tweaking something? You know what I mean? Tyrannical Jay Inslee of Washington State has included counties now that are not even infected into groups, causing major problems in restaurants and service, right? I'm living I'm living like Convid is a horse. Is a unicorn? Is that a unicorn? Or is that a horse? You are so cute. Oh, I gotta read the rest of the sentence. Okay, that's creative. And every day South Dakotans validate the truth for me. Mm. It's getting bad everywhere. You're definitely not alone. No, we're not. We might feel alone, but nobody's ever alone. And I feel you right here. Okay. Okay. Now, what I did feel was one of the more interesting pieces of news over the last week was a little House floor speech by Dan Crenshaw slamming Pelosi. It was a little speech, Dan Crenshaw, and he pretty much said how the cow eats the cabbage recently. And if y'all get a chance to listen to that Dan Crenshaw little speech, y'all definitely should. I mean, it was just one of those jaw dropping, did he really say that kind of speeches? Like, I'm telling you, you got to watch it. About the outbreaks almost seems to be coming out of an insurgency. That, I'll tell you something that was strange about the outbreak was that it was that week that Waco was like they were refusing the lockdown, right? The very next day they had an outbreak. I'm like, I wonder if they sent somebody. Fiddlesticks. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Thank you. Again, awesome. Y'all gonna make me cry if y'all don't quit. What was I even talking about? Oh yeah, the next day, Waco had this huge outbreak. I'm like, did they spray those people with something? And I've noticed that happen in different areas a couple of times. Praying for you and yours. Well, thank you. Thank you. God bless you. This is a wonderful day. This is a wonderful day. We've had it actually really, really rough around this house lately. So I had to make my husband transfer money first. Oh, good night. Oh, you guys crack me up. Oh, okay. Gotta try to get back on track here. So we were talking about, oh yeah, the lockdowns and everything. And then what should happen in Indonesia? Plane goes down, killing everyone. And I mean, it's not like that doesn't happen every so often, but I mean, immediately in my mind, I'm thinking, did that plane crash because maintenance is locked down? And I've been hearing that there's a lot of maintenance issues, or they're not being able to keep up with their planes. And then makes you think, okay, how much else in the world is going to start breaking down since it can't be maintained the way that it usually is, especially with so many skilled workers out of work, right? And if they put these restrictions on people where you can't go back to work, on one hand, they seem to have control who place these laws and restrictions on people, but at the same time, they've lost a lot of their strength, sort of like Twitter banning all those people and then their stocks plummet. Sometimes you're cutting your nose off to spite your own face. You know what I'm saying? It keeps me on a budget. Only we will know. Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys. God bless you all. And I can always use the prayers. Always, absolutely. Okay. Now, the thing is whatever issues that one side of the government had before now, okay, because again, we've got Trump going out of office, right? Now it's their term. So now they don't have anybody else to blame but themselves. But there's also nothing to really stop them except for these few brave voices that are still able to stand up as long as they can with as much censoring is going on right now. There's no telling if I'll even have a channel before too long. And I think everybody's really looking for a safe place to go and maybe safer servers. And Gab was one that people were looking at, but when I kind of tried to look at signing into that today, you couldn't, and I'm thinking, I'm hoping it's not because they got to it too already, but I'm thinking it's because of the news that came out that they were getting 10,000 users an hour signing up. So everybody's really looking to shift their platforms because you can't just offload that many people and expect, for that need to just go away. We live in an information age. Every sale that we do, every step that we take, everything. They even got smart toilets now. We talked about this. They know everything. So to cut somebody off like that, typically when an attack is happening on an area, like, say Russia invades America, right? One of the first things that you'd want to do is affect communications. All right. So these cyber attacks are very suspect. Okay. But at the moment, the heat of the moment, the first shot, you want to shut down communications. You don't want anybody to be able to talk to each other because you don't want anybody to be able to stop what you're doing at the time. That would be the first thing. Okay. But see, the problem is that with the internet, it's connected to our ability to work. It's connected to, like, some of people have biometrics. So I guess if you can't sign in, there's a lot of things you cannot do. They even have smart weapons now. So if it's not your fingerprint, you can't fire the weapon. But when you think about everything nowadays that's connected to the internet and you start shutting people off of that, I can't imagine a bigger attack. That's an attack on your livelihood. That's really an attack on your life, really. Two factions are fighting amongst themselves, right? Let me tell you, I've had people come in and asking me, what do we do? What's going to happen next? And God and I have had our talks all my life about this. And what I remember him telling me was that the two lines would become very distinct, and they are, and that the fighting is going to get worse. And if I'm not mistaken, it should start breaking out little by little across the United States over time. But then something interrupts it. Something really devastating happens, like a natural disaster and then an invasion or something. So the fighting amongst ourselves isn't really going to last. Something's going to stop it dead in its tracks in due time, but we're going to be in it for a minute. But while you're watching all of these things start to happen in the world, don't take your eyes off of the things that are still going on underneath the surface. Okay. You got to keep your eyes open. And I'll tell you something right now. I've actually been wondering if it's not a bad idea for people to start going to their, what's it called? Y'all had these designated camp areas, for communities. Might not be a bad idea to start going to those places now. Seriously, I'm calling it. If you can, get your RVs, get your tents, get your go bags, and go to your communities. Group up and start setting up. It's time. Really, it is. If you're where you're going to be, make sure that if you have to flee where you're at, that you have your go bag ready. Okay? I'm calling it. I'm saying it. A lot of people are already off grid. This is exactly what it is. It is a spiritual battle. And again, we go back to Revelation 12. Satan gets thrown out of heaven, and it says he knew he had but a short time. Which means if you know that you're about to rob somebody's house and you only have 7 minutes to do it, are you going to take your time with all of the things you need to get done? All the things you need to go through and ransack? No, you're going to go quick. You're going to be, you have that foot on that accelerator. And And when you look at the fact that we're in birth pangs and they get closer and closer together, because it's not just Satan doing his things, Jesus has been popping those seals. Those are the birth pangs. The third horseman with the pestilence, the second horseman with people turning against each other, the fourth horseman with all the death. You see what I'm saying? They're all happening now. The fifth seal, Christian persecution on the rise. See? It's happening. This is happening. This is where we're going. And it's not like the sixth seal. We've been seeing signs of the blood moons coming. I don't think the blood moons were the sixth seal. I think they're a sign that the sixth seal is popped in some way. Because there's supposed to be like a great earthquake. I think that's the crust roll too happening. It starts talking about like stars falling from the sky, which if you're rolling on your mantle, it would look like the stars are falling, right? You know what I'm saying? House is all divided and it's made of glass. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. I mean, so we know where this ship is going. We know this is called, metaphorically, Titanic. Okay, it's the ship that couldn't sink. It was so big it couldn't fail. Okay, it was so proud, and what happens to the proud? Mm-hmm. Can two walk together except they agree? And see, that's a problem that I need to go ahead and bring up. And you're right, Horn April. But see, as Christians, we've got to stop fighting about these little details, because we're so fractured. We've got to get it together. If we can't stop fighting each other, then we won't be able to be as effective as we're supposed to be. Because right now, people are forgetting the power of prayer, even though millions of people I know are doing it right now. We should all be praying, because right now we need God to perform a miracle for us. We need an intervention as a humanity, because this isn't about politics. This is about our very lives, and we know it. Our lives, our livelihood, our future, even the possibility of even having children is about to be taken away. Okay? Yes, crown. Yes, it does. Isn't that interesting, though? Crown. Yes, he is. Satan is scared of the power of the word of God. He's scared of Jesus. He is scared of prayer. He is scared of the truth. That's why, when you're scared of somebody, a lot of times that's when you attack them. Why would anybody be scared of a peaceful people that's forgiving? Because it's that kind of thing that hurts them. That's the power. It seems so simple, but it's true. He hates the truth. He hates the light, and he hates us. He hates us for the chance he'll never have again, because he was the closest to God. And now we have something he may never have. So, if he can get people to voluntarily join him, what's he got to lose? He's already damned. I'm not cussing. Galatians 5, live by the Spirit. We all need to walk and love even our enemies. And right now, even as we have frustration with our enemies, we have to remember to continuously forgive them. Even when Jesus was sitting up on that cross, he said, God, forgive them. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He's asking his Father, please forgive them. And you don't want to die with unforgiveness on your heart anyway. But at the same time, because we're fighting spirits, not people, and their fate, and on Judgment Day, this is the hardest it'll get for us, but we can't say that for others. You know what I'm saying? And we have to continue to pray and to believe. And so we can't let our anger start getting the best of us. You see what I'm saying? Or we won't be able to hear the instructions that we are supposed to get along the way. Alrighty. Okay. All right. So I'm not seeing the situation get any better, but I do see prophecy progressing. I see some major events that are supposed to happen this year. Yep. Things that are going to be very, very hard. So try to keep your chin up on that. With God, we can have calm in that storm. We've got to remember to take our laughs where we can, to try to remember to smile and remember all the blessings that we've had before and how God has carried us through in the past, and to know that He'll carry us to the end. Remember that footprints in the sand? There was only one set of footprints because God was carrying you. Well, it was Jesus, His son, but it's happened for me many, many times when I didn't, like, just the other day, I said, God, I'm out of food. Please send that truck. Please, God, help us. And the next thing I know, 30 seconds later, literally, I heard the engine and we got 3 boxes of food. We got 20 cans of tuna. I'm not kidding you. We got like 10 packets of cream cheese. So we've made salsa, we've made dip, and we're talking about making some cream cheese, cream cheese pies, because we got so much. But, it was a wonderful blessing. But it's just, if you keep remembering those things, then when things start getting stressful, you'll be able to keep your chin up and just have faith. And it's when you trust in God that those miracles happen. When it's really hard to trust, when you're really scared, when you don't know what you're going to do, you don't know where you're going to lay your head, those kind of moments. And then you just stop and go, I remember you've had me this far. You've seen me through so much. I know you're here now. I'm going to stop worrying. I trust you. And then it's like, whoa, it's amazing. It just overflows. Okay. Yep. Don't look so much at what you don't have. Look at what you got. You see what I'm saying? And we don't store up riches here anyway. I live in an RV because it's not living beyond my means. It suits the fact that I'm, sick pretty often. So I don't need a big house to clean or very far to go to the bathroom if I need to, throw up or whatever. It's just like, it suits my needs, but it's not fancy, it's not expensive, and it's not something that if I had to run from, I would cry about. I would just be thankful that I had it. I don't have anything here on earth that is so important to me that I cannot let it go. And that's something else. You just learn to be grateful for what you've got. Okay. Okay, I also wanted to talk to y'all that I'm getting ready to do like live stream, like how like they got these 2 YouTube users, and y'all can talk back and forth while everybody watches live streams. Well, I've never done one before, and Out of the Box with Michael Stokes has agreed to do my first double live stream. That's what they're called. And we're going to like start working out the details of that pretty soon. So I'm really excited about that. I hope that y'all will be able to join us when we do. He's supposed to send me an email back tonight. And I also wanted to mention, right before he got taken off of his live stream, he was talking about a movie called Jeremiah. And I know that it was free on YouTube for a while, but it is the best movie. And the way that Jeremiah is talking in the beginning of this movie, he's supposed to be at the altar with the sacrifice in front of these people, even like the king. It's a big deal. And then God just starts speaking through him, and he starts calling out their sin. And how can you go out like this and serve other gods and then come back here and tell me, that you've got salvation in my house, and this is the house of God. This is the way that he was talking to them, the way that they are. Word for word is what I see right now happening in our world today. And then there was another one that I watched just last night. It's One Night with the King, about Queen Esther. And of all of the movies about Queen Esther that I've ever seen, that one, and it is free on YouTube because I saw it last night. Queen Esther is gorgeous in that film. But it was a really great portrayal about how every time that there has been persecution among God's people, God's beloved, not just the Jews, I'm talking God's people, they're always calling to hang them or whatever. And the ways that God has delivered his people and the kind of faith that they had, especially the kind of faith that Esther had, really it gives us a good picture of the faith that we're going to have and the way that we will have to maintain ourselves. Okay, because I know it's really um easy, you know, after growing up with things like Dukes of Hazard and, Superman, to feel like Superman, unbreakable, and go doing things that you see people doing on TV when they get mad. But in our world, we have a different way. And I think that that movie, One Night with the King, really portrays how we are to conduct ourselves, especially in these situations. But moreover, it shows us what faith, that in the most trying times, can do, what God can do, what God does, and what I believe that he is still going to do for us. I believe God isn't gone anywhere. He didn't just up and run when things got tough. He's got a plan. He really does. And all he needs for us to do is completely trust in him. And I bet even if you look back in some of the hardest times of your life, what you learned from that, and even what you might be able to take from that now and put into a possible scenario. Like, say, if you've been homeless and got yourself out of homelessness, well, if you have to go back to being homeless, well, you've already had practice. It's not going to scare you as much. Anything bad that you've been through can help you through a lot because you're not so scared. You're like, okay. And for me, I've starved. I've starved so bad in my past. Like, when I was 18, left home, I lost 40 pounds in 6 months. I would just lay on the couch and watch commercials of pancakes with syrup being drizzled over, cakes and fried chicken or Popeyes or whatever, and I'd be so hungry. I would just start crying, looking at the screen, and just go on and on. And it got to the point where I just started going to neighbors' houses I didn't even know and just asking them if they would just please let me have a meal, which they would. It started getting that bad. But if I have to starve again, it's not going to scare me so much because I've already done it. It's not something that I haven't been through already, you know? Blah, blah, blah. We're ambassadors. I agree that we need to act and behave ourselves because people are watching, looking at us. That is true. I mean, and so when you think about all the people that might be asking you, well, what do we do now? Well, one, the civil unrest, it is going to get worse. Okay. But like I said, there's that group of people may or may not consist of prayer, and they may or may not be able to achieve much, right? We don't know what's going to happen, but in prayer, when we don't believe just in our own power, and when there's so many people crying out to God, don't think he doesn't hear that. Hearing his people howl night and day, he hears it, okay? So don't just think, that what you see now, that's the end of it. It's not. I told y'all, the worse things get, the more miracles are going to start happening. This is the last days. I mean, there's no way that God's not going to come with it. He is. He is. All right. But he had to shake us out of our own pride and out of our own comfortable reality for a little while so that we have no choice but to start looking up and looking for him. Stop the 33 says, you're right. I was homeless when I was 18 and begged and ate from the trash. See what I mean? There are things, there are experiences. Okay. What about all the children that's been abused out there that are now adults? Somebody threatens to beat you up. It's like, add it to my scars, I'm just saying, things can make you stronger, especially for these times. These are going to be tough. You need to be tough for them and here. Okay. Iron sharpens iron. You are well fitted for these times. Hello, Patty Perlman. I'm so glad that you could join us. We were just talking about strengthening ourselves in the Lord and Esther and, Jeremiah. So I'm thinking that, we've got little Jeremiahs and Esthers everywhere, and it's been so long, we've been so long in the world that we don't know how to conduct ourselves anymore. We really don't know what to do. We're lacking steady leadership. And when you've got people that start a Congress or Senate House meeting praying to all different kinds of gods and then ends it with a woman, there is a lot of confusion in the church. And this is why I just keep saying now, I don't worship religion. I worship Jesus Christ. I worship God. I believe in Jesus Christ, and he's my Messiah. He's my savior. I take him as my savior, and I trust in the word of God. And I leave it at that. And I believe in the Holy Spirit. I allow him to touch me and fill my mind and my soul, connect me with my Father. That right there, that's all I need. It really is. And that's right here. And don't ever forget that 2 or more people, when they come together in the name of Christ to Father, that has so much power. Okay. And so can you imagine hundreds of thousands of people crying out to God, no matter what is happening on that world stage? Something's coming. It really is. Just, you got to be ready for it. And I think many of us already have. God has prepared us. He's found a way. But again, so this whole thing of knocking people off the internet, that's dangerous. Again, I don't know how much longer I'll be on this channel either, the way it's been, because they've been shadow banning me for 2 years now. I'm surprised I have anybody able to watch this at all at this point, to be honest with you. Donna Gray, so glad to meet you. Just sent you something through PayPal. Thank you so much, Donna. God bless you. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, y'all have just been so amazing tonight. I'm just really, really, my heart's just exploding in my chest. I wish you could see it. It's just kind of keeps stopping me. Life is hard, and like, wow. And if that doesn't tell y'all there aren't still good, God-fearing, loving people out there, this should. There's still hope. There's always hope. The only place there is no hope is hell. Believe that. That's the only place there's no hope. This is our chance. We're all here for a reason. Do you realize, when you think about it, that if every generation before us has been taught about our generation and our time, all of our ancestors already knew their grandkids, good and bad. They already knew the outcome. They already knew how it started, that there was a rise of evil. And so all these evil things started happening. And so the two forces had to be pitted against one another. This is basically what they all knew. And they also knew that certain people were born. We were supposed to be here. All of us, not just the Antichrist or whoever, the two witnesses, all of us that are here, we were all supposed to be here, which means we all have amazing stories that our greatest grandkids are going to tell about us. You don't know who you are. You don't know what kind of miracles God's going to work through you. This is it. This is like the most talked about time ever. Since Jesus Christ, he's the most important, honestly. This has been the most talked about in every church up until recently, when everybody kind of got like really friendly and tolerant with the rules and flexible where they really shouldn't have been. Their heart's not really in it. Donna Gray, let it be your secret with God and our Father Almighty. She's fine. She's good. God put on my heart, so it wasn't me. I know where you're coming from, Donna. God bless you. God bless you. God is really good. God is really good. I pray he blesses all of y'all. I know he already is. Soldiers of God. That's what we've got. Unprecedented. That's a word we've been hearing over and over and over again for what, 2 years now? And see, we've got these magnetic issues going on, right? And we've been talking about how precrustal displacement is beginning to happen, because what it is you have your magnetic pole reversal first and then your pole shift. But in between that, you have the precrustal displacement, the unbuttoning, where you hear a lot of the booms and the pops, but you can't tell where it came from, and the volcanoes going off. So we're supposed to be getting more and more of that. And I'm going to tell you right here, I'm like Southeast Texas kind of girl, and the wind around here, well, it's dang near tornado wind just when a storm is coming through. So when we talk about all these things that our ancestors were talking about, they were saying that the weather would get really, really crazy, really, really bad, along with the amount of evil that was going on with the earth. But it was saying things like, lush areas would become drought stricken. It's that deserts would bloom, and they are. That basically everything would go backwards, like the ice caps will melt and you'll find snow in Texas, kind of thing. So you're going to find the opposite weather happening more and more too. And I'm also noticing that the extremes and temperatures are getting worse also. From the highs to the lows, the extremes are getting worse. And then they start talking about the meteors that are coming in, especially after that Greenland movie that they had over the summer. If that wasn't soft disclosure, I don't know what is. I really don't. Amos prophecy. Let's check Amos out super fast. I want to thank everyone that is still here with me. What chapter do we want to look at? You want to tell me, Watchman? Did you hear? So we'll read it for everybody. Did you hear about the earth is spinning a little faster? No, I didn't hear that, but I did hear that it was in a wobble and that the magnetic poles have split. I thought it was just in one area, but I think now it's in the north and the south pole. They've split, and that's a pretty big deal. Do you think these politicians realize what time we're absolutely? Absolutely. The devil knows he's got a short time, remember? And I think we're looking at some head witch mistresses and warlocks and stuff. I think we're looking at the, you know what I'm saying, the hierarchy of some of his generals and whatnot. Yeah, they got to know. Everybody knows. In fact, let me tell you something. I've met more people that don't worship God tell me that the things that they know are incredible. They are not ignorant. They know exactly what they're doing too. They really do. They know. Oh, they know. And they're excited about it. I mean, you got to think about it. You're either going to love one master and hate the other. You can't serve two masters. So they love their master. They love his plans. They are all for it. They are drooling over the opportunity to suck on your blood, so to speak, right? Off-grid farming YouTube channel said it, Christina. Oh, did they? Can't remember what I said now. I wish I could remember. Might have been a couple of times, but thank you for clearing that up. The essence of time is faster, but yet man's instruments measure the same. Yeah, we've been having some instrument issues for sure. There's some, when that binary solar system started coming in, it was so heavy that it started warping space and the solar system itself that we're in. So considering the fact that that time as we know it, like years, months, days, that is only specific to Earth and its usual rotation pattern. If that is skewed, And if you add in the magnetic issues on those instruments, I can see it being off. What chapter did y'all want to read in Amos, you guys? Because I'm down for reading it if y'all are. It's under Satan's spell. Yeah, and you know what's funny is a lot of people that aren't against Christ necessarily, maybe they're lukewarm or they're not interested or whatever, maybe they are. I'm just saying it seems like a lot of the subliminal programming that's in television and has been since decades ago has really gotten to a lot of people's heads. Like they really cannot break out of their programming no matter what's going on around them. They can only think one way. Amos 4:7. Ready. We're going to go to Amos. What was that again? 4:7. Amos 4. All right. I'll read a little bit more than 4:7. How about that? We'll start at the beginning. It says, "Hear this word, ye kine of Bashan, that are in the mountain of Samaria, which oppress the poor, which crush the needy, which say to their masters, bring and let us drink. The Lord God has sworn by his holiness that, lo, the days shall come upon you, that he will take you away with hooks, and your posterity with fish hooks. And ye shall go out at the breaches, every cow at that which is before her, and ye shall cast them in the palace, saith the Lord. Come to Bethel and transgress. What is wrong with my mouth? Come to Bethel and transgress. At Gilgal, multiply transgression, and bring your sacrifices every morning and your tithes after 3 years, and offer sacrifice." We're going to skip down just a little bit and go to 7. And also, I have withholden the rain from you. It says, okay, yeah, and 6 says, yet you have not returned unto me. And also I have withholden the rain from you. Because you haven't returned to me, I've withheld the rain from you. When there were yet 3 months to harvest, and I caused it to rain upon one city, and caused it not to rain upon another city. One piece was rained upon, and the piece whereupon it rained not withered. So 2 or 3 cities wandered into one city to drink water, but they were not satisfied. Yet have you not returned unto me. I've smitten you with blasting and mildew. When your gardens and your vineyards and your fig trees and your olive trees increased, the palmer worm devoured them. Yet have you not returned unto me. I've sent among you the pestilence after the manner of Egypt. Your young men have I slain with the sword, and have taken away your horses. And I've made the stink of your camps to come up unto your nostrils. Yet have you not returned unto me, saith the Lord. I've overthrown some of you, as God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, and you are as a firebrand plucked out of the burning, yet have you not returned unto me, saith the Lord. Therefore, thus will I do unto thee, O Israel. And because I will do this unto thee, prepare to meet thy God, O Israel. For lo, he that formeth the mountains and createth the wind and declareth unto man what is his thought, that maketh the morning darkness and treadeth upon the high places of the earth, the Lord, the God of hosts, is his name. And this happened to Israel. I'm telling you, whatever God has done in the past for certain reasons, if you do those same things, it's going to happen again. And tell me if Amos chapter 4 didn't sound like a lot of what we're dealing with nowadays, right? I really want to hear you to start a channel watchman. Okay, Patty, yes. What did Patty say? Every aspect of earth, people, and life is being impacted, changing, affected by these times. Absolutely. We're going to transform into all light and all darkness. What does it say about diamonds, right? They're made under pressure. The most beautiful things. My phone has been ringing alerts all through this chat just to let you know it's been tough to get all the audio. I totally understand, and I didn't realize that we had really actually been on for over an hour. There was a lot to talk about though, wasn't there? It's gonna be super cold for us. A lot of people, here in the South, make sure you keep your water dripping. I don't wanna keep y'all any longer, but just thank you so much, everybody. Just thank you for coming. Thank you for the tips. You have no idea how much they're needed. God bless you. Thank you, and let God keep you. And y'all just have a wonderful night, okay, guys? Bye. And I promise I will talk to you soon.